And the first person whom we are honored to have with us is Hakim Khalifatullah, who is here. Namaste, sir. Hakim Khalifatullah is a very distinguished Unani practitioner. He headed the Central Council for Research in Unani Medicine and also was the Director General of Central Council Chairman of Central Council of Indian Medicine. For a period of several years, I had met him either in his clinic in Triplicane near the mosque along with Dharampal ji, who used to go to have consultation with him, or equally frequently at the airports when we were both catching a flight to Delhi or returning from Delhi. Dharampal ji also every now and then would say that I have to go to the Hakim's clinic, get some medicine and send it to him as a parcel. I used to joke with him saying that we all know that Dharampal ji had a sweet tooth. Hakim ji शायद कुछ शरबत खिला रहे हैं आपको, because I think some of the Unani prepared are very delicious. I remember that there's a cousin of mine who used to drink several glasses of Ruafsa every summer, every day, and used to claim that it was Unani medication, and he proved to me by showing some article. So we are very honored to have you with us, sir, and we also remember, those of you who are here will remember that when we celebrated Dharampal ji's 80th birthday in Chennai in Image Auditorium, the Hakim ji was also there. So I now invite Gita ji to present to him. Okay, sorry. I invite Gita ji to say a few words, and then we'll commence with presentation of the first volume of the book to him and also to honor him with a shawl. Yeah, sorry.
Namaskar to all, especially to the PPST members, the dignitaries on the dais, to Norma Alvares, and to all the practitioners and custodians of Indian knowledge traditions who are present in the room. It's a real privilege to be here, and I'm only here because I'm privileged to be my father's daughter. Of course, it would have been very good if other members of the family could have been present, but I'm the only member of the immediate family who's living in India. So I'm really honored to be at this very special event in the company of so many eminent scholars and practitioners of knowledge in Indian science and technology. And so, as you can imagine, I feel truly humbled to be here. So much so that I'm at a loss for words. So maybe I should just give over the mic, although I've put down a few lines because I knew that I'd be a little tongue-tied. So let me basically express my personal sentiments about my father. As many of you know, who knew him personally, he was very humble in spirit, not a man of any pretensions, and was not in favor of any big celebrations or tamasha. He was more a man of action, but not even that. It was only after deep and rigorous reflection, which was accompanied by years of assiduous research, the results of which have made quite an impact on many receptive minds, and the details of which are known to all present, so there's no need for me to go into details before such an august audience. But it is important to emphasize the following, namely that he knew that the discoveries that he had made about the relatively well-functioning nature of Indian society in all domains at the eve of the British conquest, that this wealth of data provided by the early British observers themselves constituted mainly the top of the iceberg, or to use a more appropriate metaphor, that his findings constituted just a few gems in a whole treasure trove, which contained many more examples of India's achievements. And so what he fervently wished was for inquisitive and committed Indian scholars to not only continue this research to uncover or reveal the wealth of tangible evidence, but also to investigate how these achievements had been possible. That is, how our Indian communities were structured in such a way that enabled such magnificent productivity in all spheres. In a nutshell, he hoped that his own rudimentary research would inspire our young or not so young Indian scholars to really understand how our society functioned so relatively well barely 2 centuries ago, thanks to her organizational structures and modalities. For in like manner to Gandhiji, he felt that these were deep-rooted structures and that they represented well-tested and appropriate techniques that could at least be partially revitalized and be adapted to contemporary needs. Above all, he was certain that the contribution of our people, above all their appreciation and involvement by our so-called scholars, was a prerequisite for attaining true Swaraj. It is this perspective that I feel is so neatly articulated in the title of our today's event, Reimagining Swaraj Through Indian Traditions, a seminar on India's path forward in the knowledge domain. So, although Dharampalji was not in favor of big celebrations, today's event, conducted as a seminar, would have gladdened his heart. And I may be allowed to assume this. It's perhaps a daughter's prerogative. But above all, this seminar, organized so meticulously by the PPST, would have confirmed his faith in the stalwarts of the PPST, many of whom are assembled here today, whose acumen and capabilities he greatly appreciated. He told me once that if any group of scholars could take forward the spirit of his research, the PPST, according to him, was the one group that was appropriately equipped for this important task, for its members were not only qualified in the domains of science and technology, but were also patriotic and people-oriented. His dream, or should we call it vision, was that through the mediation of the PPST, India, with her immense pool, would come into her own and achieve knowledge Swaraj through the participation of all her people. So symbolically, an initial step in this direction is being taken today by way of this special honoring ceremony of eminent representatives from Indian medical science, Unani, Siddha, and Ayurveda, the honoring of the Vishwakarma, our master craftsman, the honoring of Jyoti Shastra, Panchangam makers, the celebration of our agricultural science, and of our rich knowledge of textile production. And last but not least, the appreciation of our contemporary science and technology, that goes without saying. This symbolic ritual is being conducted by Baluji, our Purohit for today, and the symbolic gift to honor our custodians of Indian knowledge is appropriately the volume of Reimagining Swaraj Through Indian Traditions. So much has been said about the volume's contents by previous speakers, K Suresh, and also by the publishers, Dr. Norma Alvares. So there is no need for me to go into details here. The commemorative volume is being accompanied by Tamil translations of some of Dharampalji's writings that were compiled by Claude Alvarez. They were translated into Tamil by Shri Mahadevan, who likewise is being honored in gratitude for his dedicated work in making known Dharampalji's contribution to a Tamil readership. My deep reverence to our dignitaries, and especially to the eminent practitioners and custodians of Indian knowledge traditions. For me, being a part of this ceremony is an honor that I shall always treasure. Lastly, my sincere good wishes that our seminar's objective, as articulated in the title, may lead to fruition. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, Gita ji. I now invite her to offer the first copy of the publication to Hakim ji and also offer him a shawl. After which I request you, sir, to feel free to say a few words or share a few moments of any thoughts, reminiscences that you have here.
Good morning to everyone. Mr. Dharampal ji and his birth anniversary, we are celebrating this function. I am happy to be associated with that because we were together in the process of our day-to-day working, and sometimes used to guide me, and he also used to be guided with the medical aspects. Dharampalji's work, I know a few of the articles, but many of the articles I have not gone through them, but I'll see that this book will give me a list of, or the gist of his work, which will be appreciated. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Who is no more with us. She has been associated with CTMR for over 20 years, and she is also involved not just as a practitioner and a researcher, but also some key tasks like honoring and recognition of pre-existing knowledge of the community, which is very critical, underscoring the fact that knowledge is not just what comes from the universities, but also as a parampara. We are very happy to have you with us, ma'am, today. And I request Gita ji to offer her a copy of the book as well as offer her a shawl. Thank you.
For inviting me for this function. I come from Center for Traditional Medicine and Research. We do a lot of research in Siddha medicine. We travel a lot and visit various Siddha Vaidyas of traditional practitioners and collect their knowledge, and we digitalized several palm scripts also. And we were associated with the Central Research Institute, and we are doing a lot of research regarding this traditional mercurial preparation, that's kattu kalangu and all those things, and we're validating all those things. Thank you for inviting me to this. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. I next call upon Ayurvedic Vaidya Radhika. Radhika is an Ayurveda practitioner who graduated from Venkatramana Ayurveda College in Chennai. More than 20 or 25 years back, she was part of Lok Swasthya Parampara Sambardhan Samiti, working with all of us. When she has also had occasion to have various meetings at Dharampalji. I remember occasions when we were both scolded together by Dharampalji. You know, we have a saying in Tamil, Kuttu Pattalam Modar Kayalu Kuttu Pannam. So Dharampalji used to be intolerant of sloppiness in work, and there are many sessions where we had. She has also interacted with us. She is currently heading the Ayurveda division of the Aringer Anna Hospital, Government of Tamil Nadu Hospital. I am delighted to welcome her here. Kindly request you to accept a copy of the book and a shawl from Gita. Please feel free to say a few words. Feel free to share a few words with us.
It's a great pleasure and honor. My memories go back to more than 30 years back. As a young graduate of Ayurveda, I was just like wondering what to do, and that's how once my good friend Dr. Girija, she introduced me to this group. So I'm actually also thank her on this occasion. This gave me a very good insight about how to look at things. Like how to even, I mean, Baluji, I remember him in so many day-to-day things, because he has taught me how to, keep things in a very organized manner and so many things. And we have done some work together. Those were actually golden days, a few years. And after that, when I got into service, I had to move away a bit, but definitely those days were foundation days to me, and I also had the honor of meeting Dharampalji a few times and interacted. So it's a real great honor. So all my, I came here to meet all the old contacts. Dr. Krishnan is here, Mukundanji is here. So anyway, it's very nice to be here, and it's my honor. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Radhika, for joining us. The next person who will be meeting is Thapati R. Selvanathan, who is the founder and chairman of Vaidyanath Thapati Associates. I must say that the PPST group and personally myself also, we had a long period of association with Sri Ganapati Thapati, who is the son of Vaidyanath Thapati. Ganapati Thapati, some of you may remember, gave one of the keynote addresses in the Traditional Science Congress in Mumbai. And he belongs to a family of very distinguished Sthapatis who trace their lineage back all the way to Rajaraja Perintachan, who is said to be the architect and the designer of the Periya Kovil in Tanjavur. In the 1980s, inspired by Dharampalji's work, when some of us started out on this project to look at traditional techniques of metallurgy and metalworking, Ganapati Thapati was fascinated. He was part of the same fraternity. We used to have long discussions, and he used to guide me saying that if you're looking for metal workers, anywhere where you see a huge stone structure, surely there will be a community of metal workers around, because stone cannot be shaped unless you have high quality metal tools to shape it. We used to have some fascinating discussions on the matter. And Thapati Selvanathan is the chairman of Vaidyanath Thapati Associates. Vaidyanath Thapati is the distinguished father of Ganapati Thapati, who is the person who designed the Gandhi Mandapam, and Ganapati Thapati himself is quite legendary in having designed the Thiruvallur statue, Valluvar Kotam, and many other such structures. We are honored to have your presence, sir. That's right. I request Gita ji to offer him a copy of the book and a shawl. Please feel free to சில வார்த்தைகள் பேசுறதுக்கு உங்களை வரவேற்கிறேங்க.
Namaskaram to all. This is a great event celebrating the release of Shri Dharampalji books on his 100th birth century. Our Shilpi tradition is honored to receive this book about the great works of a legend. We take this opportunity to share with you all that our Guru and Periyappa Padma Bhushan Dr. Ganapati Sthavadi had associated with Shri Dharampalji in many seminar and conference through PPST Foundation. Respected Dharampalji always honored and valued Dr. Ganapati Sthavadi, who is from an unbroken lineage Sthabatiya tradition. One of his forefathers, the celebrated Sthavadi Gunjaramalla Rajaraja Perandachan, who built the temple, Pragadishwara temple in Tanjore. It was the great association with two legends, bring out Indian cultural heritage. Following their path, we are propagating the science and technology through our temple projects. Our Sthavadi always tell, when we met, I was very young with Sthavadi. Many seminars I also attend with my father, Ganapati Sthavadi. That he will tell always our Dharampalji, what is meant by Dharam? Dharam means quality. Whatever your knowledge is quality, and it should be asserts for the future younger generation. This is our எப்போ பார்த்தாலும் சொல்லுவார் ஸ்தபதி இவர் தரம்பால்ஜியை. ரொம்ப சந்தோஷமானது. We are very happy to receive his knowledge. Thank you for honor.
Thank you very much, sir, for your presence. The next person was not physically able to be present, but has expressed his interest and consent to be part of this, is one of the directors of Manonmani Vilasam Press, who are makers of the current day Panchangams. I think those of you who read Science and Technology book, among the most fascinating chapters are his chapters relating to astronomy and mathematics, to me at least, in terms of the insights that it gives into how the British looked at it, what are the kinds of distortions, and the famous quote relating to this means I must have been a Newton among the Brahmins, as you would remember. So I think, Krishnan, have we invited, or will this person be joining us online, this makers of Pambu Panchangam? I'm not sure how exactly it's going to be worked out.
They said they will.
Okay, fine. Okay, fine. We've been in touch with these Panchangam makers.
Oh, he's there. Okay. Huh? Can you please speak? Can you?
Ashok, yeah. ஐயா மனோன்மணி விலாசம் பிரஸ் சார்பில் நீங்கள் கலந்துக்கிறத பற்றி ரொம்ப மகிழ்ச்சி. இங்கே நேரில் நீங்கள் இல்லைங்கிறதுனால இந்த புத்தக வெளியீட்டு விழாவில் ஆன்லைனாக கலந்துக்கிறீங்க. நீங்கள் ஏதாவது சில வார்த்தைகள் சொல்ல விரும்புகிறீங்கன்னா சொல்லுங்கள். அண்ட் புஸ்தகத்தையும் ஷாலையும் உங்களுக்கு நாங்கள் அனுப்பி வைக்கிறோம்.
You have to unmute your mic.
It's a great honor to invite me to participate in the function. I'm very thankful to the host and the conveners of the program.
Thank you very much, sir. Thanks for making time to join us. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
The next person who is joining us is a representative from the farming community. I have great pleasure in welcoming in our midst Mr. R. Manikandan from Sirgadi Taluk, Mayiladuthurai, from the Thanjavur area of Sirgadi. He is the founder and treasurer of the Sirgadi Natural Farming Association. சீர்காழி இயற்கை விவசாயிகள் சங்கத்தினுடைய நிறுவனர் மற்றும் பொருளாளர் திரு மணிகண்டன் அவர்கள் அகனிங்கிற வில்லேஜில் சீர்காழி பக்கத்தில் பாரம்பரியமாக வந்து விவசாயத்தை ஈடுபட்டிருக்கிற குடும்பமாக இயற்கை விவசாயத்தை 25 வருஷத்துக்கு மேலே ஈடுபட்டிருக்காங்க. அண்ட் அவங்களுடைய குடும்பம் வந்து பொதுவாக சில பொதுநல பணிகளுக்காக லைக் நீம் சீட் யூனிட் ப்ரிப்பரேஷன் அதுக்காகலாம் வந்து நிலத்தையும் தானமாக கொடுத்துருக்காங்க. ஐ எம் கிரேட்லி honored to by his presence. I request Gita ji to offer him a copy of the book and a shawl. மணி நீங்கள் சில வார்த்தைகள் சொல்ல விரும்புறீங்கன்னா sorry.
அனைவருக்கும் காலை வணக்கம். என்னுடைய பேர் மணிகண்டன், சார் அறிமுகப்படுத்தினாங்க. ஸோ இந்த இயற்கை விவசாயம் அப்படிங்கிறது வந்து இந்த இந்திய பாரம்பரிய அறிவியல் மையத்தின் மூலியமாக தான் எங்களுடைய இந்த வளர்ச்சி வந்தது. நம்மளோட மரபு சார்ந்தது தான் அது இயற்கை விவசாயங்கிறது. அது வந்து காலப்போக்கில் நிறைய பசுமை புரட்சிங்கிற முறையில் அது நிறைய மாறி போனதுக்கப்புறம் அதை மறு உருவம் எடுத்து கொண்டு வரதுக்கு சிஐகேஎஸ் நிறைய முயற்சிகள் எடுத்தாங்க. அவங்களோட நானும் இணைந்து கிட்டத்தட்ட 25 ஆண்டுகளாக வந்து அந்த இயற்கை விவசாய பணிகளையும் எங்களை சார்ந்து இருக்கக்கூடிய சுற்றுப்பகுதியில் இருக்கக்கூடிய விவசாயிகளை கிட்டத்தட்ட இன்றைக்கி ஒரு 1000 பேருக்கு விவசாயிகளுக்கு மேலே நிறைய விழிப்புணர்வுகளை ஏற்படுத்தி அவங்கள பாரம்பரிய நெல்ரகங்களை பாதுகாக்கக்கூடிய பணிகள், முக்கியமாக பாரம்பரிய வைத்திய முறைகள், அதே மாதிரி பாரம்பரிய நெல்ரகங்களை பாதுகாக்கக்கூடிய முக்கிய பணிகளில் நாங்கள் ஈடுபட்டுருக்கோம். ஸோ அதில் ரொம்ப பெருமையாக நாங்கள் நினைக்கிறோம். ஏன்னா இன்றைக்கி இருக்கக்கூடிய பாரம்பரிய ரகங்கள் நம்மளுடைய மக்களுக்கு ரொம்ப தேவையான நிறைய விஷயங்கள் அதிலேருந்து இருக்குது. அந்த வைத்திய முறைகளும் சரி, அதிலேருந்து வரக்கூடிய விஷயங்களும் இந்த நிலைக்கும் இந்த விவசாயத்தில் இந்த மாதிரியான ஒரு இயற்கை முறைக்கும் கொண்டு வந்ததுக்கு பாலு சார் அண்ட் நிஜி மேம், எங்களோட இயக்குனர் சுபாஷினி மற்றும் அவங்களுக்கும் ரொம்ப நன்றி கடன் பட்டிருக்கோம். ஸோ அந்த இயற்கை விவசாய முறையை மேலும் மேலும் நிறைய கொண்டு போகணுங்கிறது எங்களுடைய தாழ்மையான வேண்டுகோள். ரொம்ப நன்றி.
He represents a group of farmers from Sirgari near part of Nagapattinam district in Tamil Nadu. They've been involved for over 25 years, and among the core of their activities is conservation and propagation of traditional rice varieties, and they also have a strong interest in traditional medicine, which he feels is a natural ally or interface with traditional agriculture. Thank you for making it. Next we invite Mr. Dakshinamurthy, who is a master craftsman award winner, who is currently in the dyeing and printing division in Kalakshetra. Dakshinamurthy avargal vandu President's Medal for Excellence in Weaving Natural Dyeing 2009 ஆண்டுல கிடைச்சவருக்கு. I invite Gita ji to offer him a copy of the publication and a shawl. Sir. He has over 45 years experience in natural dyeing and weaving, and he is part of the dyeing and weaving division in Kalakshetra in Chennai. நீங்க ஒரு சில வார்த்தைகள் பேச விரும்புறீங்கன்னா பேச. தமிழ் எப்படி வேணாலும் பேசுங்க, மொழி பேசலாம். கொஞ்சம் பக்கத்தில் வச்சுக்கணும்.
ஹலோ ஹலோ, என் பேர் தட்சிணாமூர்த்தி. நான் வந்து 1969 இந்த கலந்தாரி பிரிண்டிங் நேச்சுரலைஸில் இந்த தொழில் இருந்திருக்கேன். நான் 79 கவர்மெண்ட் ஆஃப் இந்தியாவில் ஒர்க் பண்ணியிருந்தேன், ரிவர் சர்வீஸ் டெக்ஸ்டைல் டிபார்ட்மெண்ட்டில். அதுக்கப்புறம் 2011 எனக்கு பிரசிடென்ட் அவார்டு கிடச்சிருக்கு. அது நேச்சுரலைஸு பிரிண்டிங் அண்ட் டையிங்கில் அண்ட் பிளாக் பிரிண்டிங். அது அதுக்கப்புறமா கலாட்சேத்ரா ஃபவுண்டேஷன் ஒர்க் பண்ணியிருக்கேன். ஆக்சுவலாக நான் அந்த பேஷன் மேடம் நான். அதனால் எனக்கு தமிழ் கொஞ்சம் வரும், பேச முடியாது. அது இப்போ தான் பேசுகிறேன் தமிழில். நான் இந்த பெரியவங்களாம் எங்களை வரவேற்கிறதுக்கு ரொம்ப நன்றி சார். தேங்க்யூ வெரி மச்.
தேங்க்யூ. He is an artisan who has been in the area of natural dyeing, block printing with natural dyes with Kalakshetra Foundation. He belongs to Andhra Pradesh and he has been in this line of work for over 45 years. He's happy to be in this company. One of the persons who has been important in popularizing Dharampalji's book in Tamil in the last few years, there have been translations of several key publications of Dharampalji by New Horizon publishers, and the person who has led this by translating these books is Mr. Mahadevan, whom we have invited to be here today. Mahadevan Avargalai, we invite you, sir, to be present, come on to the stage to receive a copy of the book and a shawl. Thank you. Please feel free to say a few words about it. Copies of some of the books of Dharampalji in Tamil will be later on available on display and sale. Please. A few years back, I saw a review of one of these books and I purchased it, and I called Claude and said, it says it's with permission from Other India Press. What is this? He said some guys in Chennai said they wanted to translate. We said fine. I don't know them more than that, and we're very happy. Please say, would you like to say a few words, sir?
எல்லாருக்கும் தெரியும் தரம்பால் செஞ்ச விஷயம் ரொம்ப பெரிய விஷயம். பட் அதுக்கான ப்ராப்பர் ரெக்கக்னிஷன் கிடைக்கவே இல்லை. அதுக்கான விஷயங்கள் நம்ம அதுக்கான விஷயங்கள் ஒன்றும் இல்லை. அது வந்து ஸ்கூல் பாடமாக இருக்க வேண்டியது. நம்மளுடைய ஹிஸ்டரியை பற்றின விஷயங்கள் அது. இப்போது ஒரு 2 years பேக் சென்னை புக் ஃபேரில் ஒரு மீட்டிங் ஆர்கனைஸ் பண்ணிடலாம். டிகே லீடர் வீரமணி வந்து என்ன சொன்னார்னா, 2000 வருஷமாக பிராமணர்கள் வந்து நம்மளை படிக்கவே விடலை. பிரிட்டிஷ் வந்ததுக்கு அப்புறம் தான் நம்ம படித்தோம். அதுக்கப்புறம் தான் இந்த மாதிரியான ஒரு புக் ஃபேர் நடக்கிறது, இத்தனை பேர் வராங்க அப்படின்னு சொன்னாங்கன்னா அது தட் இஸ் பிகாஸ் ஆஃப் பிரிட்டிஷ், அவங்க கொடுத்த எஜுகேஷனால தான் அப்படின்னா. பட் அதே புக் ஃபேரில் தரப்பாலோட புக்ஸ் நிறைய இருந்தது. அதில் வந்து பிரிட்டிஷ் ரெக்கார்ட்ஸ்லேருந்தே இருக்குது, நம்ம முன்னாலே படித்தவா எல்லாம் இருக்கா, அந்த மாதிரியான விஷயங்கள்லாம் இருந்தது. பட் அது என்னென்னா, அது கரெக்டாக போக வேண்டிய இடத்துக்கு போகவே இல்லை ஒன்றும். அது நம்ம ஸ்கூல் கரிக்குலமில் அதில் வந்து பாடமாக வரணும். அதுக்கு நம்ம எல்லோரும் என்ன எஃபர்ட் எடுக்கணுமோ அதை எடுக்கணும். அது ஒன்று தான் நான் கேட்டுக்கிறேன். தேங்க்யூ.
We are next inviting Professor Bhaskar Ramamurthy of IIT Madras as a representative of the modern stream of knowledge. Many of us know his unobtrusive and presence, supporting and always downplaying his role, saying that, well, I just met Dharampalji a few times when he was in Ashok's house type of thing. But those of who know him know that his mental and other involvement in these ideas is much more than the self-effacing way in which he has expressed himself. Invite Bhaskar Ramamurthy to come, and I invite Gita ji to offer him a copy of the book. Please feel free to say a few words, Bhaskar.
There are about, without any effort on my part, when I read about the humongous effort some people have put in to meet the individuals that they badly wanted to meet, when you read about that, I realize how easily these opportunities came to me. And yet, my regret is if I look back, I can say that I didn't really understand what opportunity was being given. Dharampalji is also one of those extraordinary people. I think I did not pay the attention and give the focus that I should have in retrospect. And I had the opportunity to interact with him, as with a few others as I mentioned. Of course, these are always things that one discovers later in life. On a humorous note, I think I'm the first of the Asuras, right, to whom you are giving the info. I finished all the Devas first. Okay, so Asuras are also good people, by the way. I discovered that late in life. So one of the things I realized that we hit those of you who are familiar with computers, we hit Control Alt Delete in many of our things in India, including of course pursuit of technology. So we press the reset button, we're going to start everything all over again, which means you wipe out all the potential, all the knowledge that you had. And this of course has hurt us very badly and is hurting us very badly. But more than that, I realized as we tried to do things, build things, make things, that apart from the knowledge itself, the disconnect with our past actually at a human level also impacts this very badly. Most of us who are trying to make technologies about making gadgets, making things that improve our productivity, improve our efficiency, whatever it is, aids to our living. Our ability to do this is certainly impacted by the fact that many of us who are practicing this are disconnected from our traditions. And the only good news that I got as I tried to figure out what one can do, what is that there's a lot of people in the other Bharat who are happily connected. They don't know that they are connected. They also don't know what, they have various amounts of knowledge about the past. They don't even know what they know, what they don't know or don't know, but they are well connected. So that's the good part. So it's if we reconnect with all these people, bring them into the framework, I think we would have licked the problem, and that's beginning to happen. I can see that. I got the opportunity to interact with people from a very different, background in terms of how their families, the traditions have been, how their families have been. Many of them, of course, have not been touched, fortunately, maybe by modern education. In many of those families, the first graduates are happening now. But I find that many of them are don't have this disconnect which I talked about, which seems to impede our work, ability to do things properly, even in the modern technology space. And now many of them are coming in huge numbers into the national endeavor, and bringing with them their connect. And I think this is what is beginning to make the difference. This is what I feel. And of course, relearning all the knowledge, or starting with the reset button, is a very big handicap, and that's what we've been doing in everything. Whether you look at, I work in telecom, whether you look at telecom, whether you look at planes, whatever it is. This has been our story, but that's how it has evolved, and we're sort of making up. Maybe it'll take a few generations, but the people, they connect with the past, the traditions, and the way of thinking. Even such a basic thing as self-belief and self-confidence. All of these have been great. Lack of all of this has been a great handicap. So I reflect quite a bit on on the opportunities that I had, as I said, to meet several remarkable people. A few remarkable people, and one of them was Dharampalji, and I tried to recollect what I did not quite absorb that time. I also read now and then works of his and works of others who have similar thinking. So all in all, it's a wonderful time and place to be in, to sort of begin to reconnect and begin to rediscover our past. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Bhaskar. And to extend this analogy of Suras and Asuras, I want to remind the gathering that both the Asuras and Suras had to put their hands to Vasuki. First, what came out was deadly poison. Afterwards, a lot of Amrita came out. So we were waiting and watching. And those of us who know Dharampalji will also remember that he opened our eyes to a lot of aspects of tradition, but he was no glorifier of tradition. Every now and then he'll take slight dig at it. For example, there was a young scientist who once came and told him, he thought Dharampalji was running down everything modern. He said, you see, these people are always at these computers and all that, that is taking them away from the society, that's taking them away from the people. Then Dharampalji said, well, I don't know about that. A rishi who goes to the forest saying he do tapas, perhaps some people may say that they are also going away from people, they are also giving commodity. I don't know, you see, we have to look into these things, etc. So anyway, thank you for that. I now have to make some concluding remarks. Before that, Ashok Jhunjhunwala suggests that we should open a copy of the book and gift wrap. Yeah, sure. Gift wrap copy of the book before I conclude.
That's okay. Thank you.
Parts of India who come here to join us, some of the very central personalities are, for a variety of reasons, not present on stage. For example, Claude, on whom we pin the primary responsibility that he is the one who introduced us to Dharampal ji. He is not here on stage, but we recognize his presence. For 25 years, whenever we met Claude, he used to tell us that when he first met the PPST group, they were not so concerned about the state of his health. He was in high threat because he came protesting some police action in Tamil Nadu and all that, but they were more concentrated on 18th century and Dharampal. No? He was always scolding us about it, but I guess he has forgiven us. Today I didn't get scolded by him. Thanks for being with us, Claude. Thanks to various others also. In fact, I must mention that if at all anyone qualifies as being I think in Tamil tradition we have this word Prathama Sishya, no? The primary disciple who carries forward the intellectual content and work. It must be M.B. Srinivas, who chose to be in the sidelines rather than on stage. Greatly honored to have you with us, MD. That's very nice that you're there. And then there is Girija and Mukundan. I was just mentioning to somebody that Mukundan has an honor that's not shared by anybody in this room, not even his daughter Gita ji. He has co-authored a book with Dharampal. No? So that's really something I must say. Thank you, Mukundan and Girija, for being with us. Then we have people like Rama and Rama Subramaniam, who did a Boswell and Dharampal ji, in the sense that Boswell is supposed to have gone around and noted down every single thing that was said by, Dr. Johnson. So Rama Subramaniam, Rama, spent several months with him in Sevagram and gave glimpses and aspects of his personality, like his fondness for ice cream, how he would fight with them, how he would make up with them. That's the kind of a glimpse that we rarely had with from any of the other disciples of Dharampal ji. It's very nice to have you with us. Then we also have people like Kannan and Charya, who have been office bearers and secretaries of PPST Foundation. Happy to be with us. There are many other people who have perhaps have the honor of hosting Dharampal ji. Perhaps Bhavani has perhaps made more chapatis for Dharampal ji than many of us. Bhavani was somewhere here. Thank you. Then we have Sahasrabuddhe and Chitra ji from Varanasi, who have come all the way. Perhaps you should get the award, like in student gatherings, we have an award for people who travel the maximum distance. I don't know if you qualify for that. Then we have JSR, Suresh and many others whom we'll have opportunity to hear in detail. Rest of the, and of course, lastly but not least, we must thank Ashok Jhunjhunwala for this lovely surroundings in which this meeting is held. I'm just trying, and I was also trying to think Dharampal ji would sometime exclaim, we moved from a office in Srinagar Nagar to a much better office in Karpagam Gardens. He came to the office and he told me, you have moved from a slum to the 21st century. So I was just trying to imagine what he would have said if he walked into a building of this kind. Yeah. There may be various others that I have forgotten.
I want to
add. And we'll be very delighted to see that there are people like Ajlu who are so enthusiastic in carrying forward tradition. Huh? I didn't see her.
Uzrama is here?
Okay, okay.
We didn't see her.
Uzrama is hiding behind the pillar. Welcome, welcome, Uzrama. There are very many other people, Entro Mahanubhavula, as you say, but I don't want to stand between you and the tea. If there is anyone essentially forgotten,
I want
please go ahead and complete this, Ashok, and play the host. Invite people for
I want to thank various people, Raji, Soni, Girija, her team, Jesse, Shiva, Charles, Prasanna, who has worked for last several days meticulously doing everything and will be continuing to support us for the next several days. Thank you very much. Please join us for tea across the room, and then we'll start the next session.